My wife's parents are like the perfect encapsulation of the boomer mindset. We're staying home for Christmas. But we want to see the kids for Christmas. Okay, so then come up. But we always do Christmas here. Since you were little, your grandma would come up here for Christmas. Well, congratulations, you're the grandparents now. It's your responsibility to come up for Christmas. If that's something that their grandparents always did, well, you're the grandparents now. That's your job now. Congratulations. You've been promoted to grandparent. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning to r/BoomersBeingFools, the subreddit dedicated to boomers being fools. Foolish boomers doing foolish, silly little things. I'm so good at describing subreddits before videos. Very quickly, before we begin, I just have a couple things I wanted to mention. First of all, YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider joining, as it really helps support the channel. Also, I will be live in 2 hours as of this video going up over at my Twitch. That's twitch.tv/BlueTheNerd. Please do come along, as it is always a good time, and I love to see you guys there. Other than that, let's get straight into the subreddit, shall we? Law enforcement are looking for a woman that destroyed nearly $100 worth of LGBT books in the Mesa County Library. I can't imagine having so little to do with my life and time. So little going on in my life that I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go vandalize a public library. Somewhere that people go to read books and gain knowledge for free. Something that children and adults alike utilize to read books. I'm gonna go vandalize it and destroy some of their books because I don't agree with what they're saying. That's fascism mindset. That simply is just the fascism mindset of, I don't agree with what these people are saying, therefore I'm not going to allow them to say it. Could you imagine the outrage that would be spread across right-wing social media, you know, across Fox News and the like, if a liberal or if a left-wing person had done the same thing to a bunch of conservative books in a library, right? Could you imagine the outrage that there would be across social media? The seats are assigned. My kid and I went to see Merrily We Roll Along at the movie theater on Sunday. We get there early because I picked middle seats and don't want to squeeze past the end seats if they have arrived and already reclined. Two women come in and start up the stairs. Pause, check their tickets, and one says, I don't want to go up the stairs. Let's just sit here. I have checked for empty seats to let my friend know the next one to me was still open if she could make it. The seats where the woman sat were marked as sold. Movie starts. Two people come in with arms full of concessions, double check their tickets, and yep, the old ladies are in their seats. They let the boomers know they want their seats. Boomer women whine, but we're already sitting here. Can't you just sit in our seats? They don't move. The people with concessions look dumbfounded. Start to protest. Old biddies protest louder. My daughter shouts, they bought those seats. Get to your own seats and shut up. The old ladies got up and moved to their seats. Lights were low since the movie started, so no one knew it was my daughter who shouted. You have raised your daughter right. This annoys me. Like, it's such a petty, pointless, stupid little thing. Camera, focus on me, not on my fucking cabinet. It's not a face. It's not a face. It's not a face. This annoys me because it's such a petty, like, pathetic little thing, right? Like, why did you, they know that movies and theaters work in the system of you have bought a seat, therefore you sit in that seat. It's not like you buy your right to be there and then the seats are free for all. You buy the seats you want. And quite often different seats cost different amounts of money. They know this. This isn't a new system. This is something that has been around for decades. This has always been the system in movie theaters, right? Always. It's the same for non-movie theaters as well. So just the audacity and the entitlement to be like, no, but we just didn't want to go up like 5 more stairs, because let's be real, how many fucking stairs are there in a movie theater? You're in a movie theater. Give me camera, focus on me. You're in a movie theater. You're not in like a full-on like theater where there's balconies and you potentially have to climb flights of stairs. In a movie theater, you're going to be climbing what, like 15 feet of stairs tops to get all the way to the top? It's not even like it's that much effort. I just, like, if you didn't want to climb stairs, if that was an issue, you should have booked seats closer to the front. And I'm sure that like anybody in my comments that has no mobility issues will very much attest to the fact that you'd be aware of this fact and you'd book for the front, right? Like, you wouldn't be like, I have mobility issues, therefore I'm going to book seats that are the most amount of stairs for me to climb. That's a silly thing to do, right? Like, but just the entitlement is so annoying. So here we have a old guy with a gun, accidentally fires the gun, negligent discharge, fires the gun into the table, immediately turns the gun up, points it at the clerk, at the guy behind the counter, doesn't realize what he's doing. No one has taken this gun off of him, but my God, this man should not have had a gun. If the fact that he was handling this gun, moving it around, and had his finger on the trigger. I am British, very British. You've probably been able to tell. We don't have guns in the UK. Like, you can get guns in the UK, but they require specific licenses. There are regulations to controlling them. You have to keep them in specific places, etc. It's hard to get guns, and for licenses, you have to give a very specific reason. Even I know that two of the first rules of gun safety and of holding and using a gun is you don't put your finger on the trigger unless you intend on firing it, and you don't point the gun at anything that you don't intend on destroying, right? Even if you don't think the gun is loaded, even if you think it's empty, you don't point a gun at another human being. You don't point a gun at anything that you don't want to shoot, right? Even if it's empty. That's like gun rule 1. That's the first rule they teach you. Like, trigger discipline and not pointing the gun at things is like genuinely the first things you learn for gun safety. The fact that this guy is buying a gun and doesn't know that baffles and terrifies me. My boomer uncle complains about Michelle Obama daily. Why is Big Mike Obama complaining that he couldn't wear his natural hair during the office? I've never once thought about his hair. He blames white people for everything. Big Mike needs to STFU and stop appearing in public. Who the hell care what he has to say? More anti-white propaganda. These people shouldn't flatter themselves. Most whites do not care what blacks do with their hair, most of which comes from slaves in India. Weevisha needs to sit down. Wow, there's layers to this. There's there's the racism, there's the subtle transphobia and supporting of the transphobic conspiracy theory that Michelle Obama is actually a man used only by transphobes, despite the fact Michelle Obama has literally given birth to children. Like, it doesn't make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. But like, they're like, I have never once thought about Michelle Obama's hair. What are they going on about? And then it's like, they need to stop appearing in public. Like, they're like, oh, Michelle Obama complaining about white people, like, we white people don't care. They should just not appear in public. Like, a white person saying a black person should not appear in public for complaining that white people affect how she appears in public. Completely oblivious to the irony of them making that statement there. A white person saying that she should just not appear in public. Like, also, it's fucking 2026 and people are still complaining about Barack and Michelle Obama. Obama hasn't been president for like 10 fucking years. I'm superior to you. Well, it finally happened. My father, 78, had a freak out the day after Christmas and ruined the holiday for everyone. We were eating on an outdoor table at Whole Foods, and my child, 9 years old, was bottle flipping at a nearby table. Mind you, no one was around, just us. All of a sudden, my father got up, told my son to stop, and that he was being a bad citizen by not respecting others. My wife stepped in and let my father know that she's got this, and turned to our son to ask him to stop. He got pissed and told her to shut up, and when she stood up for herself, he got in her face and told her he was superior to her, and then stood over her trying to intimidate her. This whole time, I'm in the store grabbing some food, and my wife calls me to tell me what happened. I leave my cart, sorry to the workers who found it and had to put it all away, and rush outside. I meet my mum on the way out, and she's beside herself. I tell my wife to take the kids and go to the car, and then I confront my father. He starts by saying my little shit of a son was disrespectful and that my bitch of a wife doesn't have any right to tell him what to do. I stayed very calm throughout this whole thing, knowing that my wife and kids were watching me from the car. He said he won't visit our home if this is how he is treated. Anyways, he and I had a back and forth for a while, all while others were watching. He was yelling, so we started to gather a small crowd. Today we were meeting extended family for lunch, and he and my mum show up. He acts like nothing happened, and my mum told my wife that she should apologize to him. My wife did nothing wrong and is expected to bow down to him. He didn't say a word to either of my kids or my wife. I still can't believe he said those things to my wife, but even more, he did it in front of my children. They are leaving to head home tomorrow, but they are leaving with this hanging over our heads. Both my children have said to me independently today that they don't like him saying those things to their mum. He won't be invited over again, and he's willing to die on this hill. His grandkid flipping a water bottle is all it takes for him to ruin any relationship he has with them. This would be an immediate red flag for me. This would be enough. This would be it. I do not have a wife, and I do not have children, but I do have a partner, and I can imagine, you know, having children. And if any family member, parents included, had the audacity to tell my partner that they are better than them, or to yell at my children, or my partner, yeah, I'd be like, all right, you know what? F you. If this is the hill you're gonna die on, if you're gonna scream at my family for something as little as bottle flipping, yeah, you're gone. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, if that's all it takes for you to scream at my family and to tell my partner that you're better than them, to call my child a little shit and to call my partner a bitch, that would easily be enough for me to be like, you're not seeing my family again. Like, I'm not letting that happen. And quite frankly, the mother in this scenario, the wife of the granddad, right, telling OP's wife that she's the one that has to apologize, I'd be like, if you can't see that he was in the wrong and that he's the one that should apologize, I'm sorry, but like, if you're taking his side in this, I'm not inviting either of you round. Like, you might be my mother, but you're siding with an abuser in this scenario, and I'm not agreeing to have that around my family. Boomer Dad sent this. Happy Kwanzaa, Wisconsin! To all those celebrating across our state, Kathy and I are wishing you celebrations full of joy and community. I'm gonna have to censor that, but it's that picture of Kamala Harris that conservatives photoshopped, made with AI, one of the two. It's really creepy, actually, how much they were spreading this image as if it like actually meant anything. It's not a real image, but they were spreading it around like this was somehow like the damning nail in the coffin for Kamala Harris's career. Like it's AI or Photoshop. Like, it doesn't mean anything, but it's also just a really creepy thing for people to be sharing. Honestly, bizarre.
I'm suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth. Literally, they put words in my mouth. They had me saying things that I never said coming out. I guess they used AI or something.
So Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is here now saying that he is suing the BBC for using AI to put words in his mouth, using AI to make him say things that he never said 5 years ago. So he's claiming that at the start of 2021, the BBC used AI to make Donald Trump say things that he never said. First of all, if you attempt this lawsuit, you'll lose. You're not gonna win that because you said those things. The BBC will be able to prove it. He'll lose that lawsuit, which will be hilarious to watch because ultimately it'll be more damning than anything else. But the AI that would be needed to do that did not exist 5 years ago. And I would know because I was working in video, and like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I was working for a company where my boss wanted us to use AI voices. He wanted us to replicate his voice using AI so that he didn't have to do as much work. And the tools weren't there for that yet. They weren't readily available for that to be convincing. They existed, but they weren't convincing. So add another couple years on to before that, they did not exist yet. They did not exist. They were not good. Whatever AI voices did exist at that point were so obviously AI, along with any AI video which also didn't exist, was so obviously AI that you know anything from that point was real. You know it was real. Donald Trump said the things that the BBC reported on, and he's trying to claim now, right, that his insurrection and the things that he said at the time, nah, it's all AI. It's all the BBC faking it and putting it in AI. What about any other news site that reported on those things? What about any of the other ones? Well, the dozens of YouTube videos that were recorded live. Boomer school bus driver thinks it's her civil right to be a racist bigot. Trump DOJ opens investigation into DEI wokeness after she gets fired. They literally threw me under the bus, the bus driver cried after being fired for posting a no speaking Spanish sign on her school bus. So I've said this a lot before in the past, and it often comes up in Boomers Being Fools because they're often the people going, "You're in America," or "You're in England, speak English," which is stupid. It's a stupid mentality, and it's always been a stupid mentality, and it will continue to always be a stupid mentality. And I've talked about it a lot, but I guess I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, right? The mentality doesn't make any sense. If someone is in any country, this goes for any country, not just English-speaking countries. If someone is in that country and they are not explicitly speaking to someone who only speaks that language, right? If they are speaking to their own family member, or if they are speaking to another person who speaks Spanish, if they are speaking to anybody that isn't explicitly an English speaker, or the context of whatever country this might come up in, that just put that language in its place. Unless you, as an English speaker, are the person being spoken to, they have no reason to speak English. If you are not a part of the conversation, you don't need to understand what they're saying. If you don't understand what they're saying, it's deliberate because you're not a part of the conversation. If they are speaking to you, then sure, it would probably be worth them speaking English so you can understand what they're saying when they're speaking directly to you. But if they're not, if they're speaking to another Spanish speaker, what reason do they have to ultimately say something worse in a language they are less comfortable with, especially when speaking to someone else who may also be less comfortable speaking English than Spanish? Why would they speak worse with that person deliberately so that a stranger who isn't being talked to can understand what they are saying? That doesn't make sense. But on top of that, I guarantee that 99% of all of these "you're in America, speak English," or "you're in England, speak English" people, when they go on holiday to Spain or France or anywhere else that doesn't speak English, they will get annoyed when people can't speak English. They'll be like, "Oh, this is a tourist area. I'm a tourist. You should be able to speak my language." They don't go, "Oh, I'm in Spain. I should learn Spanish." It's always English. It's always, "You're here, speak English," or "I'm there, why don't you speak English?" It's never on them to learn another language. It's never them that's the problem. It's people that can speak more languages than them that are the problem. I think they're just jealous that they're stupid and can't speak an extra language. I'm sorry. Not everyone that can't speak an extra language is stupid. I am very much among that demographic. I'm trying to learn another language, but I would by no means say I'm fluent. People that can speak more languages than me, you guys are intelligent. That's fucking amazing, and I wish that I could do that. Boomer Dad randomly sends me texts about Obama. Nothing about Christmas or my birthday. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize this was going to become the Obama episode, but apparently boomers still aren't over Obama. Okay. My mind is androgynous to a great extent, and I hope to make it more so until I can think in terms of people, not women as opposed to men. In regard to homosexuality, I must say that I believe this is an attempt to remove oneself from the present, a refusal perhaps to perpetuate the endless farce of the earthly life. You see, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination. That's what your favorite Obama said. If being gay is so wonderful, why does he hide it and not let his big dick husband come out of the T-word closet? What the hell? Why would you send this to me? And then they sent a fucking X status, because obviously nothing says true fact like an X status. But I have multiple things to say here. First of all, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If Michelle Obama was actually trans and Obama was married to a trans woman, this would only garner favor among people that would vote for Obama, right? Left-leaning people that are more inclined to vote for Democrat politicians would definitely be like, holy shit, yes, I am going to vote for the person who is open enough to admit that they are dating a trans person, but more to the point is dating a trans person isn't shaming someone for being trans, right? People would definitely be happy with that fact. But second of all, Obama isn't the president anymore. He doesn't have to worry about approval ratings. He's not running for elections. He is not doing anything in that regard, right? So he has no reason to lie about this. He has no reason to not be open about these things. He has no reason. Nothing is going to affect his approval ratings or elections. So why would he continue to lie about it? Why would it matter to him? Why wouldn't he do the thing that would actually gain him more respect, despite the fact that he has nothing to gain from not doing it, right? Because the reality is, Michelle Obama is a cis woman who has given birth to children. And anybody that says otherwise is fucking stupid. They are actually stupid. He has nothing to lose lose by admitting that Michelle Obama is trans. He, in fact, only has things to gain. The fact that he hasn't done so is pretty testament to the fact that Michelle Obama is, in fact, a cis woman. Any arguments about Michelle Obama being trans come inherently from immediate racism and misogyny. They are entirely grounded in this idea that Michelle Obama doesn't meet their white standards of femininity and beauty, therefore she must be trans, right? Misogyny and racism. That's entirely where it comes from. That's where the entire argument comes from. Misogyny and racism. That's it.
What the F is it with water bottles? Are there no water fountains at school anymore? Can you not go 4 hours without a drink? This is a contrived need.
Who's out here getting annoyed about fucking water bottle? What the what? What? Water bottles aren't a new concept. People have always had water bottles. What? What? When I was a kid, right? Camera focus. When I was a kid, right? When I was in school 20 years ago, I had a water bottle. This isn't new. This isn't a new concept. Hydration's important for so many things. You learn better when you are hydrated. You get less issues with things like headaches or kidney issues when you are hydrated. You'll perform better at sports when you are hydrated. You will generally be more healthy when you are hydrated. What the f is this mentality that children shouldn't have a water bottle? Water, a human right, something all humans need to survive, and it's ridiculous. It's a contrived need that children should be able to hydrate. That thing that all human beings need to do. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Boomers have the weirdest issues. They have the strangest things to take issue with. And it's always just, this person doesn't look like me. This person has a different skin color to me. This person has made a choice that I wouldn't make. They grow up. How can they be one of the older generations of people alive on Earth right now? How can they be in that generation and have never grown the fuck up? Grow the fuck up. When people talk about, respecting your elders and elderly people are wise, they know more about the world. Like, fuck off, do they? At this point, no. Maybe that mentality was true when people died at like the age of 50, When someone is considered elderly at the age of 50, maybe that was true. But now when people are living to like 80 or 90 and your brain has been breaking down for the last 50 years, I'm sorry, no. I'm not going to consider the person who lacks any emotional or empathetic maturity. I'm not going to trust that person to make wise decisions about my life, about the government, about my country, about my children, or about anything else, okay? Sure, there are good, wise, elderly people out there. However, you are not just automatically wise for being elderly. I'm sorry to say it, you're not. If you are actually one of those people, that's great, but it's also not on you to make that decision. It's on other people to say, yeah, no, you're actually wise and smart, You don't make that decision. But that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below. Or equally, you can click on the join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. And if you do support me, you get access to the entire backlog of member videos. So you'll get to watch all of them. So you can basically binge all of them. So maybe consider it if that is something that interests you. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.